Hey there, I am Brian Goulet of GouletPens.com, and today I'm here to talk to you about the fountain pen inks that just aren't as popular or discussed as where we at Goulet Pens think that they should be. Now, these are all going to be currently produced inks, all ones that are available through our store because these are really the ones that we're most familiar with, and it's ones that have all been launched and in stock enough to really have a deserved reputation and potentially be on the radar of the people in the pen community. I know that this is a wildly subjective list, and I have the utmost of confidence in your ability to both praise and flog me for any of my choices, so get those comment typing fingers ready and let me hear it all. I'm going to highlight a few inks in no particular order, though YouTube shows this video to more people if you watch it through to the end. So I'll add a little hype in here and say, here's my list of the top underrated fountain pen inks, and you won't believe number 5. Now let's get into it. Noodler's Cayenne. I'm starting off with this one because I want to get it out of the way. Drew, my fellow pen cast accomplice, feels very strongly that this should be on the list because it's normally overshadowed by the far superior Noodler's Apache Sunset, which is objectively better in every single way, in my opinion. Habanero also gets talked about quite a bit, which leaves Cayenne as a third wheel in this high shading orangey, yellowy, reddish trio of colors. Cayenne is the reddest of the three colors and is actually a delight to use and does legit deserve some love. So if you've used this and love it, then give Drew some love in the comments. But if you think Apache Sunset dominates all, then give me some love. Diamine Majestic Blue. Before Organic Studio rolled around, there were just a few high sheen ink colors, and the one that always topped my list was Diamine Majestic Blue. It's well behaved, it's a deep, rich blue color, and it's got a hint of red sheen without causing a whole lot of the extra dry time or smearing that you often get with high sheening inks, though there's always that potential with these types of colors. High sheen inks haven't quite exploded like shimmering inks have, and perhaps that's because the properties of what allow an ink to sheen are a bit more challenging to harness. It's caused by refraction of light, much like when you have soapy water on an oily asphalt driveway and you can sort of see the rainbow reflections when the sunlight hits it. That's sort of what you're getting, that same property for what causes the sheen in ink, and it's created by some sort of mysterious property in the dye that I don't think is common amongst most dye colors. But what I do know is that it's pretty special, and Majestic Blue offers this in a way that balances the aesthetics and the performance quite well. I gotta give a little love to Noodler's Ottoman Azure as well as Private Reserve Electric DC Blue, which are both similar in color and property to Majestic Blue. The classic Herbin colors. Jacques Herbin is an ink brand that's been around since 1670, which is insanely old. When I first got into this business in 2009, they had one standard line of 30 milliliter ink, though when they started out with their first shimmering ink with the 1670 Rouge Hematite, and then followed it up with a bunch of stunners in the 1670 line, the 30 mil line seemed to get overlooked by a bunch of people. The standard Herbin colors don't shimmer, they don't sheen, heck, they're not even very saturated, but where they shine is with the shading, ease of cleaning and maintenance, and the pleasing readback, as the ink is very easy on the eyes when it's written on the page. Poussière de Lune. This is a dusty purple, fantastic shading, and I could even argue that this one is pretty work appropriate. Lit de Thé. This looks kind of like tea or coffee if you were to ink up your pen and write with that. And it looks especially great on ivory paper. It's got that old world kind of appeal. And I may totally butcher how to pronounce this, but Rouille d'Encre. It's rusty anchor pink. It's not my personal tastes, admittedly. I just don't quite get this color, but it definitely has a cult following, and for those that love it, they go nuts for it. So shout out in the comments if you are crazy about this color. It's very high shading, and it's just great, especially for those who like to use their ink for maybe mixed media or art purposes. Noodler's Blue. This is pretty much a match for Goulet Blue, so yeah, of course I'm going to be a fan of this one. In fact, when we came up with our exclusive ink, Liberty's Elysium, we basically asked Nathan, can we just get a bulletproof version of Noodler's Blue? Because that's pretty much what we want. It's a deeply saturated color. It's got a tremendous value because Noodler's is pretty economical, and it's pH neutral, and it's got some really nice shading too. And in fact, all of the standard Noodler's colors are pretty great and probably get overlooked because they don't have the same attention-grabbing names and artwork that some of the more popular Noodler's ink colors have. So in addition to blue, the standard yellow, green, brown, red, and purple, these are all great performing colors that I think are worth a little attention. Robert Oster Blue Water Ice. So I personally have been a fan of this color for years, and it was pretty popular, but I think has maybe lost some attention mainly because Robert Oster came out with a ton of really other nice mid-range blues with a hint of red sheen. I personally love the shading, the color, the ease of use of this ink, and I've used a ton of it. There are probably a lot of great alternatives out there for sure, but I always just end up coming back to this one, so I'm gonna give it a little more love here, and hopefully you'll enjoy it too. Diamine Syrah. This has been around for more than a decade, and I actually remember when it was created as a collaboration with Nibmeister Richard Binder, who, as I heard about, was known for mixing Waterman Purple with Schaefer Script Red to get a wine-colored ink like this one. So Diamine came out with Syrah that was inspired from that mixture, and to me, it's one of the best wine-colored inks out there. It's not too purple, not too red, not too brown. I think it's just right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this list and maybe you came to appreciate some inks that you've been overlooking. This is all pretty subjective stuff though, and I'm sure depending on where you spend your time in online circles, you could see or hear different things than maybe I do. So you let me know if you think I'm pretty spot on or if you think that I'm dead wrong. I'd love to hear it either way. If there are other ink colors that you think maybe deserve some attention too, well, leave them in the comments and we'll see if others agree. If you're into any of these inks and you want to learn more about them, you can go check them out on gouletpens.com, and you can see lots of other fountain pens, ink, paper, and stuff there. If you like this video and you want more like it, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I just really appreciate you sticking to the end of this video. So, thanks so much for watching, and right on.